Yes. Hello. Thanks for this presentation, and I'd like to ask about this Finnish robot, like Valley or however you're calling it. So what's the situation with that at the moment?
Yes, we have an association. It's called Airo Island for Artificial Intelligence and Robotics. And we are starting all the operations, and we have a venue in Helsinki Old City near the Technical Museum. And it's going to be renovated during the summer. And then we are starting, and you are all welcome to Robottiviikko, EU Robotics Week, which we are having in the last week of November in that venue. So you're welcome. And welcome to join us also. We need everybody.
Hello.
Hey.
Thanks for the presentation. A question about tinkering. I'm a huge fan of like tinkering and doing stuff. So how do you see the sort of tinkering aspect in robotics? So meaning us actually creating and building our own robots for whatever purpose.
I see a fantastic future for tinkers, because in Peter Diamandis' book Abundance, there are some forces that are driving forward this world, and one of them are DIY innovators. And I think this is going to save the world, that we really start to do ourselves things. And of course 3D printing and such technologies, they also bring the production near to us so that we can have individual products when we need them and just like we need them and want them. So I think there is a huge and big and great future for this tinkering.
Thanks, Cristina. I've just got a question about the idea that technology is often pushed by military and pornography. Those are the two things that always push technologies, people say. But with the military, obviously robotics is the military is the leading area where robotics is developed. How do we negotiate this sort of devil handshake and stop annihilating ourselves before we get to this utopian world, if you like, where these robots are helping us all?
Yeah. Rob Neal has a great speech in the internet. You can find it when you Google his name. So he says that robots are helping us, but they are also killing us. And in the US Army, they have a vision that one soldier can manage an army of 10 robotic soldiers. And obviously these robotic soldiers, they are much stronger than we could be ever. So there is, and this is something that we need to discuss openly. We visited Russia for some time ago, and they have developed a robot that can bring the wounded people back from the battlefield. And it can also see which one to take first. So obviously not to take the one who is about to die in 5 minutes, but the one who has some possibilities to live. So these kind of robots, I think we should try to negotiate that they could be used to help also people. For example, in refugee camps, I think they could use these kind of robots. Because there are refugee camps where humans cannot enter, they are too dangerous. But these kind of robots perhaps could help and bring people from there to hospitals or bring some medicine. So we need to negotiate with those people who invent the killer robots and ask them that they could use them for good also. Then you talk about pornography, yes.
That was just
but this is a good question, because there are a big sector of robotics is robotics. Robotics can be a kissing robot. So, for example, if your mate is, for example, in South Africa, so you can have a kissing robot and you can kiss the other robot, and so many things. But there are also people who are raising hopes that we could end trafficking with robots, so that robots could, instead of people be the sex partners of the future.
I know from what I've read about this topic that a lot of the programming that's been going into it has been based on things like animal movement, animal behavior, like trying to train them to think like ants as opposed to think like humans. Can you talk a little bit about like some of the other places that a lot of the robotic inspiration is coming from?
Well, I was going to take the picture what I had there, but now I managed to take it away actually. But yes, so we are getting a lot of inspiration of people and animals too, this one. So as you can see, so animals are great object to study the movement and the motorics of what robots also need. Actually, there is a university in America also where they have developed an ice hockey player robot. I can tell you it's a very, very bad ice hockey player. I wouldn't take it in my team, but they are not actually wanting to create a new team with this robot, but they are studying the movement in order to create a robot that can help people, for example, in fires, other catastrophes, to go into difficult places. So everything what they are doing now with these animal-like robots or ice hockey player robots is for some other purpose.
Good morning. I'm
Hi.
Pekka Toivonen. I'm an industrial designer. So I'm curious, how is Finland and the Finnish industry doing with the robotic trends? Are we good? Can that bring a success to Finland, or are you having a hard time?
No, don't get me started. We are having a hard time, and all the statistics in Finland with robots, they are going down, when in every other country they are going upwards. And this is our big problem. If there wasn't these 200 new robots in Uusikaupunki factory, we would look very, very bad in these statistics. And it talks about the productivity problem, what our new prime minister also took up, that one of the first tasks for the new government is to solve the productivity problem. But I don't know how they are going to solve it, but they are not going to solve it without robots. Robot is the key for the factories. And the problem is that in every political party, not only in Finland, but other countries too, they have work as the core issue in their agendas. And so it's very difficult to start talking about robots taking away that work. But there is no way that that kind of work that they are thinking about, people going with masses to factories to work in 5 shifts, that it would be coming back. So we need to talk about this, and if you know somebody, talk about it, because it's a question about our future. It's a question about taxes. It's a question about this entire society.
I was waiting for you, then the whole row.
Hi, Cristina. Thank you for the talk. Maybe coming back to this question as well, because I'm sort of thinking that what is keeping us back is also a question of funding? Because I really like the ideas, of the robots going to Ebola areas or something like this, if they can send back the data when you can't send nurses. But when would this type of production go, like money-wise, down so that we could actually have these solutions?
Well, I have good news that in Europe they are developing now huge funds to fund robotics innovations. And for example, the biggest fund for robotics is Spark, and it's from EU Commission. And there are other funds also now being developed, because robots, they require a lot of money so that you can really make it work. If you develop a game, so it's not so bad if it doesn't work, it gets down, so that's not the problem. But if it happens to a robot, it can be a big problem. So you really need money, and so we need to have in Finland also new kind of investments and funding tools for robotics. And this is something we are trying to work in our Robot Valley or Airo Island also to find this kind of new funds or to create them.
And when would it be have you got any vision of like when in time would it be that these would actually be more affordable so that the production would go up?
Okay, so the most affordable advanced industrial robot is now Baxter, made by Rethink Robot. It's cost $20,000. That's not so bad. And for example, this feeding robot is 7,000 euros. So it's not so bad, and the price of technology is coming down all the time. So I'm sure that we can afford robots, but we should also be making robots here in Finland.
Hi, my name is Iitu. I was also wondering that to make robots that they are lasting longer and they are stronger, it must be very expensive. And my experience quite often with the technology is kind of the opposite, that it's not actually lasting very long. So how to make the robots actually to be so good that they are not broken after 1 year and then you have to fix it and it costs more. And do you have any thoughts about that?
I think we could trust manufacturers like ABB and Jaskava and these guys, because there are robots from the 70s and they are still working. So the knowledge of making long-lasting robots exists already. But of course, when we are coming to lightweight robots, like many of the service robots are, so I don't think there are so much experiences yet, but I'm sure that they can use this knowledge these big companies have. I think it's also a big question about design, how you design the robots. And I'm really hoping that we could get in Finland, in some universities, programs for robotics design. I think it's important. Pekka can talk more about that.
I was interested in what you said about dignity and kind of that it's not so much about kind of what the robots do, but kind of how they do it. How much kind of in the discussion is there a lot of talk about dignity? Is it kind of a topic that kind of in the fields of robotics and artificial intelligence, is it something that is on top of mind of?
Yes, I feel it is. Many speeches I have been listening from YouTube from around the world, so they talk about dignity. Because now, at least in Finland, the situation is horrible with elderly people, so they are really not taken care of in a dignified way. So this is something we need to fix. And I have understood that it's a problem in other countries too. And our demographies, they are going. We used to talk about demographies as a pyramid. And now I was listening to a guy who is a researcher for future, and he said that now, instead of pyramid, our demographies start to look like urn. And when the demographies come like this, then we are going to have many, many more people without being able to help themselves. But with a little help with robots, they can do it. There is an example of, this is also from Sweden, with the help of this giraffe robot. There was an old lady, and she had some kind of problem that every time she needed to go to the toilet, she needed to have the home service there. So when she felt that, okay, I need to go to the toilet, she phoned, I must go to the toilet, can you come? So they start coming, looking for parking place, coming there, okay, do it quickly, I have my next patient waiting. And but when she got this, usually nothing happened, but there was something, I don't know what was the problem, but anyway. So when she got this giraffe telepresence robot, she connected with the home service and she said, okay, I'm here, I'm going to the toilet, wait here outside. And she went to the toilet, and then they changed a few words. How is it? Okay, did you water the flowers and so on? And that's it. And that's dignity. Nobody wants that somebody comes to your home when you need to go to the toilet. But for a coffee, yes. So, please start to think in a new way.
Yeah, it has been very interesting and creative morning. I don't know what I really want to ask, but something is like digging in my head that the robotizing is coming, the robotized society is coming, and it's very thrilling and interesting new opportunities for all of us. But when we talk about this dignity, we actually talk about values and attitudes and how civilized we are, or what kind of civilizations we are. So what I'm thinking is that are we mature enough to reach for this robotized civilization, or how would we somehow grow in a new level as human beings? Because I have been working with many companies, also with companies that provide service for elder people, but they are business companies in the end. So it's about how many beds they have, and how it's all about numbers in the end. But maybe if this goes nicely, it's some kind of renaissance for us, or some kind of opportunity, and I would like to hear your opinion about that, how you think about this kind of vision.
Yes, I'm for the renaissance. Yes, I want, but also I have seen that humankind has been developing all the time. So if you think how humans were some 500 years ago, when a child was nothing before he was 5 years old and could work, woman was nothing. We are a little bit more now with women also. And so we have been developing, and I think we are going to grow even more, because we really need to maybe not fight but compete with the robots for work. So that we need to be all the time more creative, more able to learn new, more inventive, so that we can have our part of the working life. This is, I think, it will push us forward. I believe so.
Yeah, I also like to believe that, but the exponential curve, it will not take 500 years.
Yes.
China 2020, or what did you say? So it means that we are really in a hurry.
Yeah, that's right. And we have a problem with exponential curves. We don't actually understand that exponential curve. It looks like, it's like a curve it shows some signs first. And then it looks like it disappears. And then it starts growing. And it's like when you put this one seed in chess, you have this chess board, and you put, for example, 1 stone, and then 2 stones, and then 4 and 8, and so on. And when you come to the other part of the chessboard, there are really lots of stones. And when you come to the end of the chessboard, it's covering the entire world, the stones. And exponential growth, when it goes to the part where you cannot actually see it, and you are saying, nothing came of those robots. And there is kind of a chaos, because nobody actually knows. We are living in that chaos now. Nobody's actually knowing what is going on. So we are relying on what is the old and familiar and what we know, and not trying to build for that exponential growth which is coming. And we tend to think linearly, so that we want to see that everything is going like it has. It's growing a little bit like this. But we also should. There is a new book about, in the book, Peter Diamandis also talks about exponentials in his new book, Bold. So please read it. It's very important to understand. And there is also a new book about, it's called Exponential Organization. So exponential is the word of the day.
Thank you. We can have a last question if there's still somebody. I really love yes.
So I'm not sure how to put this, but I've heard that there's this like ethical questions involved in robotics. Like I've heard like this dilemma, like if there's a robot car and it gets into an accident and it has to decide like whether it kills someone who goes.
Choose who to kill.
Yeah, like. Yeah, so what are your thoughts about that?
Yes, well, I think I've been driving now a robot car, and it is going along with the Isaac Asimov's laws. It's protecting the driver or the people who are inside the car by protecting the environment. And of course, this is if the car sees that okay, there are a bunch of old people and there are children, which one should I kill? So the car is not thinking like this. It's protecting the person inside the car, and it's protecting the environment. So I don't think that many of these kind of events come, but I'm sure that the car is not deciding. But of course, if there is a really developed artificial intelligence that is more intelligent than we people are, then I think it doesn't care about us people so much. It's protecting itself. But now, at this moment, there are other ethical issues too. For example, when robots are working with people, they are close to people, inside people. They are nano-sized robots in our veins, for example, could clean our veins from inside. We need to think, what does it mean? And if they have an internet protocol, what can they communicate? Can they communicate from the liver that you have been, tweet from the liver that you have been drinking too much beer or something? I don't know. But there are many ethical issues we need to think about. And because what we do now makes robots what they are in 20 years. And for example, people ask me, what can I then do? So one thing to do is that when you are in social media, don't write anything shit there, because robots, they are reading. If they're, for example, reading all the time that some kind of people are worse than other people, then okay, it looks like those people are really horrible people. I choose to kill them. So please don't do that.
Thank you.
Thank you.